King Jr. means to me. But before I do it, I'm going to speak to the young people. I'm 46 years old. I'm not ashamed to say how old I am. I just turned 46 a few weeks ago. My father is 81, and he'll be 82, God willing. He'll be 82 in September. What I want to say is listen to our older people, our elderly. They have so many stories to tell you. My mother and father were born in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Him in 1926, my mother in 1928. She's in heaven now. She left this world in 1995. But the stories that they can tell you mean so much. They grew up during the time of segregation that we don't know anything about. I was a year old when Dr. King did the I Have a Dream speech. I was 6 years old when he was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. My father can still tell me about the Huff riots, the Glenville riots. He can still tell me about what it was like to go to places, you know, where it was white and colored. So when they are gone, those stories are gone. So listen to them. I am so glad my father is still with me so that I can hear those stories. A lot of times, I've heard them 1,001 times. Oh yeah, Daddy, I remember. But you know what? When they're gone, I won't have those. When he's gone, I won't have those stories. So young people, please listen to those stories. They are so important. Our elderly, I know, you know, we should not disrespect them. I'm a nurse, and I work around, a lot of my patients are, you know, older guys. I take care of from the very young Iraqi war veterans who are in their 20s to the very old. I just recently took care of a little 91-year-old. So they run the gamut. They're black, white, Hispanic. They run the gamut. Young people, please respect. Ellen Victoria can tell you. What do I always tell you to do? And, correct, and respect. What Martin Luther, thank you for that, so I could say that. What Martin Luther King Jr. means to me. Martin Luther King Jr. would have been 79 years old on this past Tuesday, January 15, 2008. To me, he is the greatest American to have lived. There are two reasons why I say this. Reason number one, he is the father of the civil rights movement. Yes, Rosa Parks did not give up her seat on that bus in Montgomery, Alabama, but it is because of her courage that Martin led the civil rights movement. To this day, I do not sit at the back of the bus. I will stand or give my seat to someone else. Secondly, it is because of his leadership that we, as if you want to say Black Americans or African Americans, we have the privilege and right to vote. Not only him, but thousands of others like him who believed in equality fought for all of us to vote. I take this very seriously. Ever since I was a senior back in 1980 at John F. Kennedy Senior High School, I have been glad to exercise my right to vote. I have only missed one time since I was 18 to vote. So young people, when people tell you that your vote doesn't count, it does. And please, this is an election year. Get out there and vote in the March primary and in the November main election. I will close my speech with a personal reflection. Martin Luther King Jr.'s most famous speech was the I Have a Dream speech, which he delivered in 1963 in Washington, D.C. That speech was only 19 minutes long. I still hear it today, and it sends shivers up my spine. In fact, on Tuesday, I was driving home from work that morning, and it was playing on the radio, and I just had to kind of, whew. Martin Luther King's dream that this country, he had a dream that this country would become unified. In some ways, his dream has come true, and in many ways, it has yet to come to fruition. We all have dreams, but let us all in our hearts and minds keep Martin Luther King Jr.'s alive, not just on his birthday, but all year round. I end with his famous words that are on his tomb in Atlanta, Georgia. And before I say them, if you ever get a chance to go to Atlanta, please see the King Memorial. We didn't get a chance to go inside, but his tomb and then his wife's tomb is there. It is very powerful. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you.